Blake Production.
What is poppin'? It has been a hot minute, boys. So here we are, guys, gals. We're back with it with Galaxy Digital Holdings. We're gonna do a little breakdown today. It's been a hot minute. So again, timeline's been funky. It's been interesting to see, since NASDAQ, I feel like the timeline's just gotten toxic. It's almost like everyone is. It's weird. So most of the OGs are kind of still level headed about it, but it feels like there's a lot of new people on Galaxy Twitter who are just extremely bearish, just complaining and nagging constantly. But that's why we're going to do this video today. I think we should clear it up a bit and have our expectations set with like a level-headed outlook, right? So we're going to strictly focus on the technicals. We all understand that the fundamental outlook for Galaxy is huge. We could touch up on some things, right? First NASDAQ stock to ever get tokenized. What does that mean? I think that's, if you really think about it, if the next 5, 10, 15 years, financial markets as we know it now turn towards blockchain and this type of technology to run their systems, Galaxy leading the way, that could be a great in. That's another bullish catalyst, I feel like, for Galaxy taking that step to be the first mover here. It just could end up meaning a lot. Who knows how this could turn out with Galaxy helping other companies potentially go this route, right? So that's major. We also have, I believe, the 800 megawatt, our data center that we expanded to 800 megawatts, or that deal that got signed with CoreWeave for 800 megawatts. I believe that's going to be revenuing close to $1 billion a year. What does that look like with the full Helios campus kind of built out? What does that look like? How much contract revenue per year could they generate from that? I think it'll snowball quickly along with a lot of their other lines of business that will be proven in the near future that Galaxy is like a big dog in this space, right? So that's the outlook, right? Think about the future. Like Galaxy is running the future of crypto and AI together, kind of in the center is Galaxy, and they're pushing to grow the spaces together. That's huge. Like I think 5, 10, 15 years down the road, when we see how big this space is, right? We're talking about Bitcoin, you know, overtaking the Mag 7 stocks in terms of market cap. Like think about how large Bitcoin would be at that point. That's another like 7x on Bitcoin from there to do that. What does Galaxy look like in that landscape? What does it look like when all stocks are tokenized? What does it look like when you could utilize Galaxy shares to gain yield because you're staking it on a tokenized blockchain? Like all these things, when you start to add it up, it's huge, okay? So now that we have this backdrop, we know that it's a very bullish scenario. It's a bullish environment for Galaxy to thrive, okay? Now let's look at the technicals, okay? What we're looking at here, weekly time frame. Let's even zoom out. We'll go to the monthly, whatever. Monthly time frame, again, it gives you this massive pattern that's been developing for, it's taken years to develop this. 2021 till now, that's at least 4 years, right? Here we have 4 years of developing this inverse head and shoulders. Here is our neckline. We can make this a little bit more bold. See if we can make this more bold. I haven't been on this in a minute, so don't mind me. Okay, whatever. Here is the inverse head and shoulders, okay? Our inverse head and shoulders, the neckline of it is sitting, again, I'm using Galaxy on the Canadian dollar terms, Highest point here, that's approximately $46 a share. And I'd say the bottom of this being, around the close of November 2001, it's around $30 a share. So between $30 and $46 a share, this is the neckline. This is the last like major resistance zone. Again, how many times we've talked about this for years. I've been making videos posting about technicals for years now. We all know that once you, in order to break this zone down, right, this major zone, there's an X amount of shares at that level. We all know this. Let's say it's a million. The first time we got up, maybe there's two. Again, this is figurative numbers. 200,000 shares got eaten alive. Another 200,000 shares got eaten alive. We're here again now. Another 200,000 shares get eaten alive. That gives us 400,000 shares left in this zone before this zone to get wiped out of all of its supply. Right? That's all it is. Right here is a major supply zone. That's it. In order to eat up all the supply, it's going to take time. We have only been in this range not very long. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks up here. 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks up here. Now it's been 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 total weeks up in this range. To give you guys some context, look how many weeks we spent eating up all the supply in this range. Right? Took so long. I'm not saying it's going to take this long to, it's not going to take, I don't think, over a year. Maybe it does. Who knows? I think what I'm trying to get at is the more we stay in this area, the better it is long term. We want to eat up all the supply here. Let it happen now. Who cares? This is just about supply demand metrics. This is what the chart is giving us, right? So we might spend a little bit longer in this range until all the supply is eaten up, and let's pray and sit that the Bitcoin and the crypto landscape continues to grow and there's no major dramatic bear market, right? So that could last us a while here in this range. I'm fine with that. Like, we're given the opportunity here, because what's after this? Well, we have a 4-year technical pattern. After this zone gets eaten alive, there's nothing above it. That's when the blue sky printing begins, right? So that's when the consecutive days of 5, 10, 15% gains continues for a parabolic run. It's just going to take some time. The parabolic run is there. We're set up to do it. The fundamental backdrop is there. And then we also have this technical aspect that is, not many charts look this good in the crypto space. Like, I feel like when you really think about computing power as a commodity, I got put onto this concept from a Pomp podcast. It's kind of crazy to think about that. If it is starting, like, the world starts to look at computing power as a commodity, well, Galaxy is set up in a position to reap rewards endlessly from an environment like that. Why be bearish? It just doesn't make sense, really. Now, I can see some of the frustration, because people want a stock that's just going to go from like 32 to 300 in like 3-4 weeks. and I could see why some people are frustrated at that, but I'm happy that I'm given the opportunity to stack some more shares at these prices. So again, that's what we're looking at. Massive inverse head and shoulders. If you're looking at this weekly time frame, like, we're kind of not in a crazy spot here. Low, high, higher low, higher high. Maybe this is our higher low and we spend a few more weeks, months stalling in this range, and then we get what we're asking for, right? It's a matter of patience here, I think. When we zoom into the daily time frame, what are we looking at? Well, what I see here personally is you have this massive move from, I think it was like 11, yeah, it's like around 11.50 to $34. We consolidate, we create a nice little cup pattern, right? So we have this nice cup, then we get another breakout move. This breakout move was from 28 to 40 something, 45. So that's like a 60% move, something like that. This move here, it needs more time, while we're also, again, in a larger time frames main zone, right? We're in a major supply area. Now what's happening, it looks like it's just a small little consolidation. We're actually starting to print some nice reversal signals here. Um, but all this really looks like to me is a nice wedge triangle pattern that's been trying to develop, right? Well, that's what it looks like to me. Let this consolidate. We're starting to see some reversal signals. You go to the 4 hour time frame, it's a little bit easier to see, but we're starting to get that bullish divergence on the 4 hour time frame. Maybe we need a little bit longer to get that bullish divergence to expand into the daily time frame. Then it becomes a lot more reliable to trade off of. But this is what we're looking at. People complain that Galaxy isn't a technically sound stock, and I completely disagree. It's really been giving us so many cues ever since, really. You could have even played it last cycle, playing that last cycle in 2020. The patterns were really easy, right? Cup and handles, falling wedges, triangles. It's pretty straightforward. And you utilize your weekly EMAs, you utilize like trend following. It was pretty straightforward. We had this whole bear market where we created this massive rectangular-ish pattern. You can call it a wedge, whatever, but we essentially just spent years developing a massive base in this zone. Okay, we get the breakout, and all we're really looking at here now is the continuation of that trend. It's been super sound this whole time. It's just what matters is how patient are you when it comes to, you know, investing, trading. Um, and it's ironic because like you look at the timeline, you can tell when Galaxy's starting to bottom because it's like full on, full blown panic, like people crying on the timeline. That's how you know, okay, it's probably getting close to a bottom. Like from being here, $44 at late July to now being at $30 or 32 ish, and down 27%. That's it. Like Galaxy had so many major pullbacks like that, and we've talked about it last cycle, right? We've gone over all this. If you really want, go back and watch all those technical videos that I posted. Everything here is looking fine on Galaxy. I don't think there's really any need to start tagging Novograds and being like, oh, you're wasting our time as a shareholder. Or I've seen the most crazy shit. Like, I've seen the most crazy shit on this timeline. I hope this video kind of helps calm down the jitters. Maybe kind of help you see a little bit more level-headed. Because, like, you're sitting on a gem. You literally, all you have to do is just sit and wait. That's what we're looking at here. So I hope that helped, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.